What's going on, everybody? This is 86, and I just wanted to talk a minute about the new build I am working on in Path of Exile. I was getting a little tired of Corrupting Fever. Champion itself is really strong defensive, and yeah, the build overall is great. It's a great league starter. It's a great way to just farm up some currency. But to get a new bow for that build, it was really expensive, and I just didn't really want to farm that out. Not when I can make like 3, 4 builds for as much currency as a bow for that build would have cost. So yeah, I decided to play something else. That has probably a lot more damage anyways. So I switched over to Spectral Shield Throw Raider. I already had a Raider leveled from the beginning of the league because that's what I league started with. And I wasn't really sure what to do with it because the league start I did start with wasn't very good. So the character was just sitting there at level 75 and I didn't do anything. So I'm just going to kind of show what I'm doing. So there's another build that's circulating around with Doriyanis prototype, which is quite expensive. Corrupted Doriyanis prototype is like 6.5 divines right now. And that's not even 6 linked. So until we get a lot of, we happen to get some major drops or make a shitload of currency, then we can turn this build into a Doriyanis prototype build. But until then, I found a bit cheaper alternative, and I'm just gonna run through the map, just kind of showcase some of the gameplay. This build is pretty fast. I don't even have my Uber Lab yet. I still need to get that. I just kind of got the build geared out today, and everything's settled. Got the defenses set up. Got max spell suppression. Got some pretty good armor. Got like 60 percent physical damage reduction. Got the res cap. Just need to work on the chaos res. Got most of our gear straightened out for now, and then start slowly working on upgrades. Next big upgrade I need to work on is just the weapon upgrade, which is going to cost about 1 divine. Start out really isn't too bad. This build is overall fairly cheap compared to some other builds I've seen on the market for Raider, so that's not really too bad. Not as much farming for this league is good because things are much more expensive than they usually are. There's also just a lot more less currency unless you get lucky. A lot more lucky. Or you're a Kohler. Yeah, this build is really nice. I always like builds that shatter and destroy everything. Projectile builds are always. We use Tornado to kind of. Biggest problem is mana, but we use Tornado to just supplement on single target when we need to, but usually we don't really need to do that, especially in these maps. Fine. But I'm just kind of farming up some currency right now. Like I said, we frozen there. Why we use cast on death portal off core life. You only live 6 times per map. We'll just finish running the map, and then I'll just kind of go over the gear. The main thing is you need to get this build started if you want to do it yourself. So far it wasn't really too expensive for me. I think the armor was about 1.5 divine. Everything was pretty cheap. That was 6 link. Yeah, the shield was less than 10C. The shield is very good for this build, very strong. They buffed it this patch, so it's amazing. This was 1.5 divines. This was 1 divine, so that's 2.5 divines total. The gloves I already had. All the rest of his gear was all relatively cheap. The other big part for this build is Seething Fury. You really want Seething Fury because that gives you crit chance for energy shield on shield. That's really important. This chest piece is really good because it basically gives you a 7 link, so it's kind of mandatory. Um, and the Pandemonius is really good because it gives you an extra 20 pen against chilled enemies. Nice, that goes well with the cold pen. But yeah, so this is a good alternative to at least a cheaper, lower budget alternative to get into Spectral Shield Throw if you want to on a Raider. It's very fast. So far, it's very strong. It's a lot faster and a lot stronger. Not stronger defensive wise, but having Hunter spell suppression is definitely nice. I'm really enjoying the build. I'm gonna keep pushing it. I will be back live streaming tomorrow. Gonna keep working on an upgrade. Just using this weapon. I'm literally using just so enemies explode. But I'm gonna get a weapon with cold pen and fizzes extra cold and some crit multi, global crit multi and all that stuff. So that'll help quite a bit with damage. Once we get that, we'll be even doing even more damage. We'll finish getting our gems leveled up, and we'll keep farming it up, and yeah, just gonna keep working on this build. I'm enjoying it a lot more than the other build, and we're just gonna finish. This is kind of the tree here. Just gonna finish working down here, getting frenzy. As you can see here, we just picked up all the frenzy charges. I went for the onslaught effect on the ascendancy just because I like to go fast. I'm just gonna go for the frenzy. You could go for this, but you could easily just get 40% spell suppress on uh, free, and phasing really that big of a deal for me because I usually kill everything anyways. Why do I need to run through it? Um, and Ghost Dance is really nice. Of course, you want Point Blank down here. I went for the suppress here, life over here. I decided to go iron reflexes so I could just convert my evasion to armor. Um, go for the crit here. You can just get this suppression here. Spell crit or suppress this crit. Some more accuracy and crit over here. Get the frenzies. This node is really good for mana sustain and life sustain. Gives you life on hit and mana on hit, and then it gives you leech. Some more crit up here, some life. This reservation node is really good. Helps you reserve a little bit more of your auras. This is not a final tree or final gear, but it is enough to get you going in maps. And it's relatively cheap. Um, I think you can get this started for well under 4 divines so far. So if you're looking for a good mapper, and with the Raider, I think this is a good choice. And it's a good entry point because you could just use this build to farm up Doriyanis prototype and some good negative lightning res rings, and you can switch over to that, and you could pretty much double your damage if once you switch over to lightning. So, yeah, it's another good option for this build. And it's another good alternative to the tornado shot cold conversion builds that a lot of people are using it in game, which can be extremely expensive to get into with the bows that they're using. So this is another good alternative you could start off as, and you could always farm up things that you need and respec later. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on this build. If you're interested, be sure to subscribe, like the video, and I do live stream every day except Saturdays and Sundays. Those days, I usually don't schedule a stream, but I do stream if I have time. So, yeah, I'll see you guys then. Peace.